Hello. It's Friday. Nice. Okay, so you have already people in the Kahoot. Okay, so today we're gonna cover. It's the last day we're gonna cover structure of atoms. Questions today will be a little bit more challenging when it comes to atoms. So same thing. I would recommend papers, calculators, pens, periodic table. That will help definitely. For weeks to come, right? Every week we will be doing one particular chapter. This week will be structure of atoms. Next coming week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll be doing chemical bonding. Then after that, we'll be doing periodic table. And after that, we'll be doing acids and salts. So, yes. Feel free to play with the Kirby's, the stream avatar, the little Kirby that spawns. As long as you type something, goes like hi in the chat, and then you get to have things. And I think that we are working on like colors and, oh yeah, you can change colors. And there will be like, I was told by my moderator, there's like currencies and monies to buy stuff. There's a bunch of things to do with it. So yes. So we will start, Kahoot will start sharply at 9:05. So yes. Okay, so and if you have any questions, you could ask. Today I think the biggest challenge lies in structure of atoms in terms of calculations. Like give you an example when it comes to things like chlorine, or like for example chlorine has different isotopes, right? So what are isotopes? For recap, isotopes are when you have the same proton but different neutron. Okay. When it comes to Sec 1, Sec 2, lower secondary, ions, electrons will be the same. But when it comes to higher secondary, means for O levels, the electrons can either be the same or different. It does not matter. That means that if the electron is the same with the proton, then it's a isotope and an atom. If the electron is different, then it will be an isotope but an ion instead. Yeah. So we wanted to mention that, for example, chlorine is there's two types of isotopes of chlorine, 35 and 37. That's very typical when it comes to periodic table. So this is also the mass number. The mass number, right, is the mass, and mass number comes from proton plus neutron, right? So what happened is, let's say this is 75%, this is 25%, then we'll be doing 35 times 75% plus 37 times 25%. Then go to calculator, you get something like 35.5. So this is one type of the question. The second type of questions, they'll tell you that the average let's say the average mass of they'll give you the average mass. In this case, let's use the same thing. They give you that the average mass is 35.5. There is chlorine 35 and there is chlorine 37. Can you find the percentage? So in this case, it will be something like 35 times X percent plus 37 times 100 minus X percent equals to 25.5. It'll be something like this. Then beyond this, what you need to do is 35x over 100 plus 3700 minus 37x over 100 equals to 35.5. Moving forward, it will be 35x plus 3700 minus 37x equals to 3550. If you solve it, you get 2x equals to 150, and then and x equals to 75. So this will be some of these, I would say, commonly student mentioned that being difficult situation. Okay, I will tune down the music. Okay. Yeah, Walid, yeah, sure. After the Kahoot, right? You post your questions in the chat. Take note. Then right after this, you can ask me anything, and I'll spend time explain whatever you wanted to ask. Okay. Sure, no problem. Yes. Okay, so okay. Okay, now it's 9:06 in 1 minute's time. Let's start, okay? So same thing. Okay. Okay, we have new hit 9:07. We shall start. And anyone who can just feel free to join in, right? Even if you're late, we will left it open there. Let's go. The atoms of 5 elements, P to T. Okay, so for this question itself, right, that is, it says atomic number. Atomic number will be proton number. So what happened is, if we were to look at the question, it says they want the total number of electrons and neutrons. Since electrons is the same as proton, this is actually asking us of the mass number. In other words, it will be just following the mass number 16, 19, 20, 23, 24. Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, sure. Let me shift the moderator. Could you help me send Wallet the room code directly? Thank you. Okay. Okay. This is a challenging one because it's more imaginative. You have to think about whether, because everything is in the same period in the periodic table and the charge tells you the group. Yeah, the charge tells you the group. So and positive charge and negative charge all means different things in terms of groups. If you know the groups, you can know its arrangement, and then you can arrange them from left to right in terms of increasing order. Okay, so if you look at this in general, plus 3 means it's group 3, negative 2 is group 6, plus 1 is group 1. So if I arrange it, it should be Y, W, X. Yes, so therefore answer would be, yeah, so plus 1 is group 1, plus 3 is group 3, -2, you take 8 minus 2. And sorry, not 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2, you get 6. So therefore, it's group 6. Yes. Moving on. Be careful, this is which of the following cannot be deduced, yeah? So cannot be deduced from the number of valence electrons. Okay, in this case, right, valence electron tells us the charge 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus. So that tells us how reactive or how easily can give electrons. So stability of atoms chemically to give or share electrons can be determined by the valence electrons due to the charge. In this case, the number of energy level around the nucleus. Energy level can be determined by the number of shells. Like if something is 285, there will be 3 shells. So if it's 281, there will be 3 shells. 26, there will be 2 shells. Energy level is actually shells of the periodic table that can be determined by the periods. This is from the electronic configuration and how do you determine the groups and the periods. Some students may be stumped by 18. 18 is possible, however, it's not a very common thing in O levels. It's more common when you are at higher level for chemistry. Okay, for questions like this, you look at the last number to determine the group. Since it wants to look for group 1, so the last number should be 1. So answer should either be red or green. And then you count the numbers. If the first number is, the red color selection is 2881, there's 4 numbers separated by dots. Therefore, there are 4 periods. Whereas the green one is 2, 8, 18, 8, 1. There's 5 of them. Since there's 5 of them, there will be 5 periods in total. Be careful of this question because you need to determine whether it is considered as an atom or an ion by counting the number of protons and electrons. You need to be careful with this. Okay, so in this case, right, the difficult part lies in if you look at this question as a whole, you have to determine what is atom and what is an ion. So let's go with this. So we try to mark it, right? For P, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 proton. However, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 electrons. So this is considered an atom. Whereas for Q, you get 1, 2, 3 proton, but it only has 1, 2. So this is actually an ion. So to be exact, that if I want to make it back into an atom, there is actually a missing shell and a missing ion that we have. Not a missing shell and a missing electron we didn't draw. Of course, the last one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we get 2 in the inner shell, 8 on the outer shell, so that's still 10. So this is sort of a little mini scam. Be careful, yeah, to tell apart the atom and the ions. So because of this, answer would be D, as in green. The atoms of P, Q, and R have the same number of electron shells, because the electron shells is technically missing here, that was not drawn, that I just drawn up, but it was gone because it's an ion by missing the electron. So the elements goes 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you need to be careful of what kind of number goes only between 1 to 3. Okay, cool. So in this case, it's the valency of the element. When we mention valency, we are referring to the number of electrons involved in the bonding. It could be shared, it could be received, it could be given, right? So N is 3 minus, O is 2 minus, F is minus. Neon has full valence shell, so it's 0. So 3 minus is 3, 2 minus is 2, 1 minus is 1. For sodium is plus, magnesium is 2 plus, aluminium is 3 plus. So 1 plus, 2 plus, 3 plus is 1, 2, 3. Okay? So valency doesn't care about plus or minus, they just take the numbers. That's pretty much it. Careful against it. Which two elements are likely to be found in the same group? I think in this case everything should be atom, because they didn't mention about gaining or losing, with protons and electrons comparison, right? So okay, so this is Q and R. So Q and R, it's everyone got it correct. Cool, let's move on. This is similar to what we explained right at the start before the stream. So it's also something that we have mentioned in the previous Kahoot stream about isotopes. That's all I can say. How do we link isotopes to things like chemical properties and physical properties? That's important because it's often asked in exams. Nice. So in this case, right, when it comes to the 35 and the 37, isotopes will always have different. So what happen is, what is isotopes? Isotopes will have same proton, different neutron. If the proton is the same, more than likely the electron can be similar. So it will have the same chemical properties. Okay, but when it comes to physical properties, which means anything you can measure, physical properties, they are affected by the mass number. And mass number is the big number like 35 and 37. If the big number is different, the mass number is different, then the physical properties will be different. Physical properties such as melting point, boiling point, density, mass, weight, stuff like that. Okay, so going there. So they will have in this case they're looking for not correct, so they will have similar chemical properties that's correct. They'll be not correct because they will have different physical properties. They cannot be similar. Okay, I'll try to highlight the not. Be careful of the incorrect and not correct stuff. Okay, question 9. This is exactly what we mentioned before the stream. This is the first of the few calculation questions. Mods, could you help Walid with the joining? It seems like maybe some assistance needed. No worry about it. Mods will be very helpful. Very helpful. Ooh, okay. Everyone got it. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Oxygen consists of two isotopes. There will be 16 and 18. So be careful whenever they write a big number next to the element, the 16 and 18 refers to mass. Okay, they're mass numbers. Okay, so there'll be mass numbers. So in this case, oxygen 16 and 18 are mass numbers. So they'll have different, they're isotopes. That's all I can say. They have the same number of and different number of, yeah. Good. In this case, right, they are isotopes, so the mass number will definitely be different. So, and as you can see, that's like 16 and 18. The mass will be different, so they will have different relative atomic mass. However, all of them will have the same chemical properties, which is -2. So when you have oxygen being 2.6, the charge is always 2 minus. Which statement of chlorine atoms and chlorine ions, chloride ions are correct? So be careful, we are comparing atoms to ions. Oh, hey Walid, yes. Yeah, we'll be definitely working on videos, but any topics and suggestions? I mean, we could try to prioritize if there's something that's going to be helpful to you. Okay, in this case, right, they have same number of protons, definitely, because they are the same element. Anything that's same element will be same protons. Physical properties will be, in this case, they have the same physical properties. Because atoms and ions, in this case, we don't know whether they are the same isotope or not. So in this case, elements same, proton must be the same. Proton is the only thing that is unchangeable. So proton is unchangeable, electron change is ion, neutrons change is isotopes. This is a challenging calculation because it has 3 isotopes. Normally people do 2. So 3 isotopes. 3 in total. There's P and Q, so you have to be, everything adds up to be 100%. That's all I can mention. Oh, okay. Oh, organic chemistry, yeah. That's a good suggestion. Mods, help take this. Take note of. Maybe let's maybe consider on working on organic chemistry cheat sheets and all the tips and tricks for that. Maybe we can discuss on that as well. Okay, so the calculation of this is exactly the same as what we mentioned at the beginning of the stream. The only difference is there's P and Q, which means 10 plus P plus Q equals 100%. So that's something that you have to take note. Oh my god. You look at the Kirby, it has like a guitar and it's like snowing. That's pretty cool. Time. Oh no. Okay. No. Okay. I should have mentioned the time next time. So in this question, right? Okay. Let me show the calculation as a whole. Okay. So. Okay. So let's see. So in case you're working and you ran out of time. Let me show the working in general. So everything has to be 100%. So we have 86, we have 87, we have 88. This is how I will write the equation. Multiply by 10% plus, I don't know what is P, so let's look for P, okay? So this is P. But definitely we know that P and Q add up to be 90% because 10% belongs to 86. So multiply by Q over, so 100%, but rather than just write Q as 2 unknowns, I will write it as 90 minus P over 100 equals 87.7. So if I work on this, it becomes 860 plus 87P plus, if I take 88 times 90, I get 7020 minus 88P equals to 8770. So if I rearrange all the P's, 87 minus 88, I get minus P equals to 860 plus 7920, then 8770 minus that, I'll get negative 10. Get rid of negative on both, p equals to 10. Okay, so yes, that's how we work on it, and this is a possible, so you can understand it. There's possibilities of having two unknowns. That's a rare question, but it's possible. Okay, moving on. Be careful, this is something very similar to what we had in the previous stream about H plus and H minus, about the gaining and losing of electrons, special to what makes what makes hydrogen so special that it only has one proton, one electron, and 0 neutron. So it's something interesting. Nice. Okay, so in this case, right, when it comes to hydrogen, hydrogen is H plus and H minus as a whole. So going back, hydrogen is one proton, one electron, 0 neutron. I like to arrange it as PEN, right? Proton, electron, electron. So when it becomes H plus, it loses one electron, so it automatically becomes one proton. And proton never change, so we don't have to write that to confuse. It becomes 0 electron. And when it becomes H minus, it gains one electron. So originally here is one electron, and here becomes 0, and here becomes 2 electrons, right? So as you can compare, one electron turns into 0 here, one electron turns into 2 here. So if you were to compare that case, H minus has 2 more. It's actually 2 more electrons in terms of difference. Okay, so it's not a 1 more, it's rather than 2 more, because this from 1 minus, it becomes 0 compared to something having 2. Okay. Be careful. This is a question that tests students' ability and understanding on how isotope works. Hey Walid, you're doing IGCSE or international IGCSE, or are you doing O levels like Singapore syllabus? Oh, okay. Insoluble gases, huh? There'll be hydrogen. I think rather than memorize a bunch of like insoluble gases, right, it's better to memorize things that is soluble. But insoluble gases will be hydrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, right? So those are generally insoluble gases. Soluble gases would be things like chlorine, hydrogen chloride, ammonia. You know, they can easily dissolve in water to normally form acids and alkali. Okay, with these questions, right, it's actually testing students' ability to understand what is isotopes as a whole. So isotopes, they say that normally, if you look at the periodic table, chlorine is 35.5, whereas when it comes to planet Jupiter, it's not 35.5, it's 36. So there can be two ways. One, the average outcome of it turns into 36. That means that we can say all the chlorines has 19 neutrons. So you take 19 plus 17, you get 36. That's the first possibility. Second possibility is half of electron has 18 neutrons, yet the rest have 20. If you calculate the average, the average out is 36. It's possible. And of course, the third one is that there's only one type of chlorine atom found, and the one type that was found is considered to be 36, which means 17 protons and 19 neutrons. The only difference is isotope can never have different number of protons. So I will always emphasize proton never change. As long as the proton stays the same, elements must be the same. So to say that Jupiter have different number of protons, that's not chlorine anymore. So that's simply not possible. That's why we are looking for the word cannot be the reason. So yeah. Okay, so the table shows the isotope composition. So this one is a calculation and it's a straightforward one. You need your calculator though, because there's like 4 different isotopes add up to be 100%. So start calculating. I will announce the time when it's like 20 seconds to remind, okay? There's 100 seconds now. Oh, 10 seconds. Oh, no. Okay, so in this case, if it's all about calculation, so I think you take 54 times 5.8 over 100, 56 times 91.6 over 100, 57 times 2.2 over 100 plus 58 times 0.4 over 100, and add everything up, you should get 55.9. Okay, feel free to try in the future. Yeah, you should have access to the question after the stream as well. So feel free to try. If not, ask me questions anytime. That would be good. Okay, nucleon number. Nucleon number is a mass number. 45 seconds more. Okay, so in this case, right, if you were to look at the question as a whole, it's also another trick question because it's the same thing. We have always asked ourselves in terms of whether something is an atom or an ion. Okay, so let's go back to this. These are very tricky questions. Every Friday are the challenging questions. If you can't make it on Monday, Wednesdays, always try your best to make it for Fridays. Fridays will definitely be the more challenging one, and we will include higher stakes next week. And for Fridays, more announcement will be made on Mondays. Okay. So, anyways, in this case, right, we have X, we have Y. Okay. So when it comes to X, when it comes to X, right, the proton number is 19. So okay, so we have to be careful on this. It says an ion of X. Okay, and so now all these are atoms. X atoms are 2, 8, 8, 1 because it's 19. Whereas Y, it will be 2, 8, 7 because it's 17. So when they become ion, X will lose an electron, so it becomes 2, 8, 8, whereas Y will gain an electron, it becomes 2, 8, 8. So the ion of X compared to ion of Y will have the same number of electrons, so 1 is out. B, both ions, so we are looking at the ions, not the atoms. Yeah, atoms is on top. We are looking for all the ions, right? So both ions have the same number of valence electrons. That's true. So some students said, no, what? You see, you compare the valence electrons, but those are atoms. So in this case, number 2 is actually correct. Both ions have the same number of neutrons. 39 minus 19 is 20. 37 minus 17 is also 20. So 3 is correct. Both react together to form a covalent compound. Last number is 1, 2, and 3. If the last valence electron is 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3 is considered. 1, 2, 3 is metal, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is non-metal. So if you look at the last number is 1, this is a metal. Last number is 7, non-metal. Metal, non-metal is going to be ionic. It's definitely not going to be covalent. So answer will be 2 and 3. So next week, everything will be on ionic, covalent, anything related to the chemical chemical bonding. So this is a sneak preview for it. So yes. Okay, moving forward. Oh, okay. Oh, hey Walid, you're referring to the different temperature, pressure, and catalyst, right? Okay. Mod, maybe drop Walid invite to the Discord or something so we can take the discussion there later on. Okay. So anyway, with these questions, right? We have hydrogen can form both H plus ions and H minus ions. H plus means that it gives electron. H minus means it receives electrons. Okay, so in this case, if it gives away H plus, it means that there will be no more electrons in the first shell. For the green, right, H minus ion is formed when a hydrogen atom gains an electron. Minus means you gain electrons, right? So that's that. Minus is gain, positive is lose. So green H minus is formed when hydrogen atom gains an electron, not lose. Okay. electron arrangement to be isoelectronic. Isoelectronic means that the electrons are the same. So for example, like magnesium is 282 as an atom, but it has to form into an ion, so it becomes 28. Whereas when it comes to chlorine, it's 287. When it forms into electrons, it becomes not electron, formed into an ion, it becomes 288. So yes. Forty seconds to go. Nice. Okay, so in this case, right, we have to same thing, use pen and paper, use periodic table, and then we literally figure it out, right? So we have okay, so the contention seems to be in blue. Okay, so potassium is 281, that's the atom. When it becomes an ion, it becomes 288. Whereas if it becomes bromine, right, if you look at the periodic table, it's on the period of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the fourth period, so it's 2, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of 18, 7. So it should become 2, 8, 18, 8. So as you can see, it's not the same in terms of periodic table. So yeah, okay, so that's that. Okay, 19. Oh, well, it just, I mean, I'm in the midst of running this, but just for a quick question, contact process actually uses a catalyst called vanadium pentoxide, and there's actually first, second, and third stage in total. In the second stage, there's something called catalytic oxidation. That's where the catalyst is being used. Second stage refers to conversion of sulfur dioxide into sulfur trioxide. That's where the catalyst is. So if you want, yeah, if you get into the Discord and you post questions there, you can have deep discussion there on how we can help you on it. Okay, with this, there's a calculation question. So there's actually 2 isotopes in total, 16 and 18. So you have to reverse engineer. Oh, there's 20 seconds more. Five, 4, 3, 2, go. Okay, good, most of you get it. So how you work backwards on questions like this, it's very similar to what we mentioned earlier on. Since majority got it correct, if you want to ask, you can actually drop me a personal message on Discord as well, or you can post it somewhere on this question, like question 19 for today's. Then we can discuss it on how to solve this as well. Hey Bob! Wow, okay. Be careful on this. This is tricky. It's tricky because there's lots of details, yeah? Especially of those with the charge. The whole selenium 2 plus, 2 minus, you need to take note whether you gain electron, lose electrons. Other than that, if it's neutrons, it's big number minus small numbers, right? Okay, so in this case, right, subatomic particles refers to protons, electrons, neutrons in general. So, okay, so I think we have to break down because there's like quite a few details here, right? So let's go. So look at this question. So we have germanium. Germanium, let's look here. Okay, looks at they have same number of electrons. So electrons, since the proton here is 34 protons, in an atom wise it should have 34 electrons. But since it's 2 plus, that means 2 of the electrons is being given away. So it should become 32. As we already mentioned, if something is positive charge, there will be more proton. If something negative charge, will be more electrons. So if it's 2 plus, that means protons will never change, electrons will be lost. So that's that. So there will be same number of neutrons. For the second one, you take 68 minus 30, you get 38 neutrons, right? So 70 minus 32, you get 38 neutrons as well. So number 1 is correct, number 2 is correct. Number 3, it has twice the number of proton. This has 32 protons, whereas this has 16 protons as well. So 16 protons times 2 is 32, twice the amount. So 3 will be correct as well. So it will be 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I believe that will be the last question of the day. Okay, congrats to all people who managed to join today. Okay, so let's have a so the rundown today is today will be the last day that we'll be doing on structure of atoms. Next week, stream will happen on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Okay, and it will be on the topic of chemical bonding. Okay, so it will be your ionic bonding, covalent bonding, metallic bonding. Monday and Wednesday will be a warm-up session for you to get familiar with the chapter to do revision. Friday will be something that is what I call a monstrous round, where the commonly mistakes questions, the difficult questions will all be on Friday, and whoever who did well on Friday, there will be a certain stakes involved. We will be giving out rewards and stuff on Friday itself. More details will be given on Monday's stream on how you can take part and actually stand a chance to win something for doing well in the Kahoot. Okay, so I will be staying around for about 3 to 4 minutes to answer some questions. If you have any questions, you can post it on chat, you can post it on Discord or answer. Else, I most likely see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, okay? So, guess what which substance form the most hydrides? I mean, is there any trends? Hydride just means that it will react with hydrogen, so I'm not quite sure about what you meant by trends, But which substance form the most hydrides? Is there any context to the question? Because almost any element can be made react with hydrogen. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Jia Ying. Yep. See you. Yeah, hydride just means that it's any metals reacts with hydrogen, right? So welcome. You're welcome. See you. Have a good weekend. Both metals and non-metals can react with hydrides. So technically speaking, when we use the word hydrides, we are referring O levels. They will tell you that it will form metal hydrides. That's more commonly asked that way. I mean, if I would really encourage if you could join the Discord, and you can ask me anytime. Like, you know, even if I don't stream, if you post something there, people in the group will help, or definitely will help you with any questions anytime, as soon as possible. Okay, it seems that's not much. There's no more questions, so we'll hang around for 1 more minute. I have to wait, see if anyone would ask anything. Okay, so okay, I will assume that there's no more questions for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me on this Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll most likely see you all on Monday, and we will be doing chemical bonding. Okay, so till then, see you. Bye bye. Bye bye.